Hey guys, it's Stephen here. I am back in Manchester after our honeymoon. Get my ring, by the way. It's nice, isn't it? The world has been quiet, obviously, over the past week. Not much going on in the world of Manchester City Football Club. It couldn't have chose a better time to go absolutely crazy, could it? A whole myriad of mad stories, which we're going to get through today. I want to say first, though, please go and give One Football a download in the link in the description below. It'd be massively appreciated. It's helped me keep up to date with all the news going around the world of football because it's been absolutely crazy. It's a fantastic app with all your Manchester City news, all your transfer gossip, and all the stats and information that you personally need to know about. And a little bonus, it helps support my channel. To download One Football right now in the link in the description below. Go and do it. It'll be absolutely wonderful. So, it's been a weird week. I'm sorry I've not been around much. I was honeymooning. I got a little bit of a tan. We were in the lakes. It was lovely. We went to a spa and we stayed in a lovely little hotel. And we needed it, to be honest, as a detachment and separation from the wedding and the tiredness of everything that we've been through this week. So it was great. This video is going to be a little bit of a different one. It's going to be more of a reflective piece over the past week and just talking about where I'm at with everything in general because there's been so much news to take in that I've seen an awful lot of heads gone on Twitter, and I don't blame people for being upset or stressed or whatever, but what I will say is this rolling 24-hour news cycle does do things to your nerves. It does wind you down. It does grind you down to the bone sometimes, and I think maybe being detached from it for the past week and genuinely enjoying myself, canoeing on Lake Windermere or walking around caves or just chilling with room service and just being totally detached from the world of football, sat in a spa pool, has made me realise just how little control we have over this whole thing and how it really isn't worth stressing yourself out over. Now, I'll touch on a couple of things first. I mean, obviously there was incredibly horrific news about Benjamin Mendy. I am not going to talk about the Benjamin Mendy stuff at length on any videos. One, I think it'd be entirely inappropriate of me. The facts are that he's been charged for lots of very severe allegations, which I'm not going to discuss because there's no point in me speculating. I can't sit here and say what should be going on with Mendy. It's highly sensitive. There's people affected by this. He also has families all on the other side. There are many people involved in this, and I'm not going to sit here and do that. I would advise anyone else making YouTube videos as well, if they watch this, to do the same, because this isn't football news. This is much deeper than that and much more serious. And it's not for me, a guy who just talks about transfer rumours, to talk about serious allegations of sexual assault. It isn't for me, so I won't be talking about that. At very least until there is something to comment on how it relates to Manchester City. Of course, he's been suspended by Man City, which seems the only thing they can do right now. But that's all I'm going to say going forward. It's, of course, a legal case, and it would not be right or appropriate of me to discuss it. I know I also could be very triggering for an awful lot of people who've been through things of this nature before. So anyway, moving on from that, there's also a little bit of news, of course, about transfers and so on, which we'll get onto in a little bit. Guardiola did also imply that he'd be leaving after his 2 years were up at Manchester City, which was quite intense, randomly off the cuff comments just to some journo, came out of nowhere, which felt like a dagger to the heart of Manchester City fans, of course. He's kind of backtracked on it today in his press conference, saying, I don't know, I could be leaving in 3 months if I've started to fail miserably. 5 months, it could be 5 years. All I was saying, and I'm obviously ad-libbing here, paraphrasing, he was saying basically when he leaves, he wants to break after his Manchester City contract is over. So Guardiola kind of said he was going to leave and then said he wasn't going to leave. I always felt personally that he would probably do the 7 years and not extend after that. We'll see, I guess, in time. A lot of news. And then, of course, the Harry Kane transfer fell through. Now, I remember hearing at the start of the week, or when was it? Maybe last week, that Manchester City weren't quite as keen on Harry Kane as Pep Guardiola was. I tweeted that, or did I put it on the forum? I can't remember. But the idea was that City felt the money that they would have to spend on Kane wouldn't be wise, and they were more interested in the idea of a project striker like Vlahovic or someone like that. As it transpired, Guardiola's come out and said that the reports about Daniel Levy refusing to negotiate were true, and he would simply not negotiate with Manchester City. And City finally backed out, and Harry Kane obviously put that statement saying he was going to stay, which led then to a mad scramble of all people, Cristiano Ronaldo. Absolutely insane. in a market where football is absolutely screwed financially, we could be looking at a summer where Ronaldo, Messi, and Mbappe all move, which just seems absolutely insane given how bankrupt everyone is currently at the moment. But either way, this is where we were, and this was all very real. It's all very real until today it came out that Manchester City are no longer in for Ronaldo. But City were in for Ronaldo, albeit briefly, but they were in for Ronaldo, which is fascinating. It's crazy. City did discuss an offer with Mendes and all that kind of stuff. Personally, you don't have to believe me if you don't want to. I really, really don't care. I've got nothing to sell because I'm not putting it on the front of the video or anything like that. I heard that City did make an offer to Ronaldo's camp, but didn't want to pay 30 million, which Juventus were demanding. So I don't know. Maybe they looked at the situation and had some qualms about his impact on the team in terms of would he fit into the style. Maybe they didn't want to pay the 30 million. Maybe they saw his age. Maybe there was just some natural hesitancy and didn't have the desire or the will to pull through and get this transfer done. So someone else is coming, maybe it's United or whatever, and they'll go for it. And I don't know. Just put my camera on again because as I was filming this, United agreed a deal with Ronaldo. So I guess that explains why City suddenly backed off, because United came in, offered loads of money apparently. Juventus said yes. Ronaldo said, yeah, I fancy going back as the superstar. And City backed out. That was the cause of that, I guess. I don't know, but one thing's for certain is that Ronaldo, if probably City had stumped up the money aggressively, would probably be on his way to Manchester City maybe. City were in for him. They can pretend they weren't, but everyone knows they were. There's too many connected journalists and too many rumours going around to deny it entirely. It was never obviously going to happen, definitely, but it was clearly something that for us to consider. Which leaves Manchester City a few days before the transfer window closes with no striker. After a season last year when we didn't have a reliable striking option as well due to Aguero's injuries. And it does leave the club a little bit with egg on its face, admittedly, especially after Khaldoon had come out and said that City would be going big to replace Sergio Aguero this summer. He essentially made that promise on a video, and that hasn't happened. Unless something crazy happens last minute, it very much looks like that Manchester City are going to go into this season with a combination of Ferran Torres, Gabriel Jesus, the false nine, and maybe even young Liam Delap, which would be very interesting. And Guardiola can come out and pretend he's dead happy with it. He probably isn't happy deep down. And it is definitely a blow. My honest opinion, look, I've said this on Twitter, so you know I'm not exaggerating here. I was never keen on Ronaldo in the first place. I don't really like the guy, and I know some people love him, but I'm not sure if there's a generational gap here. But growing up, I couldn't stand the man. I thought he was a preening, snidey, cheating little guy on the pitch, and he used to annoy me how he's obsessed with himself, how he wouldn't celebrate his teammates' goals and all that kind of stuff. And I felt like he's a United legend and all this kind of stuff, and he was old. But more than that, if I'm being honest, without getting too serious, the allegations around Ronaldo, given the timing of the news this week with Benjamin Mendy, and I know that case was closed, but I'm never really, I don't want to go too much, but I was never really comfortable with how it ended, that case. I was following it relatively closely. It was more, can't prove something happened 10 years ago, and he paid out of court. I didn't really like the guy. I don't trust the guy, is what I'm saying. I know some people do. Good on you, whatever. Personally, I share a different view. That's just how I see it, and you don't have to. And I've never really liked Ronaldo, full stop. I find him annoying. Even though I don't deny his brilliance, he's clearly an insanely good footballer, one of the greatest of all time, and he would definitely have succeeded at Manchester City. It isn't about winning at all costs for me. I never liked him, and I was totally relaxed with the idea of him not coming, and I was never even that keen on Kane. And maybe it means I'm spoiled, whatever, but this is the worldview I share. Now, people can turn around and mock me if you want to, but for me, in football, winning isn't everything. It isn't. And that may sound insane, but yeah, I think you have to keep a little bit of dignity and keep your soul a little bit every now and then, because otherwise, and there's a great article over on Blue Moon Podcast Patreon by Dan Merck, you do become that person who chases success and fame at any cost all the time, and I do become a little bit uncomfortable with that personally. And maybe you can turn around and say, well, that's nonsense, but for me, football, there has to be a cut-off line, and I was never comfortable with this for many reasons, and I wasn't, even though he's brilliant, I wasn't comfortable with it. You don't have to agree, my opinion, and I don't give a shit if you agree or not. I genuinely don't in that instance, because that's how I felt about Ronaldo as a person. Whatever. Which does leave City without a striker, which is clearly a blow. I do think City have failed. I think the board have failed in a summer where, you know, Messi was available on a free transfer, and I put that in inverted commas because, you know, he's really expensive, and Ronaldo was available for 30 million. Once again, that's in inverted commas because he's worth well more than that when you get down the contracts and image rights and all that kind of stuff. And Harry Kane was wanting to come to Manchester City, and even people like Danny Ings were available, and Mbappe's moving. And in a summer of all these trans strikers that could have done a job at Manchester City are moving. Us to not get one after what we went through last season, with Aguero leaving, the board have failed. They have failed, absolutely failed. Do I want them out though? No, I don't want the board out, because I'm also aware that despite them failing, and they've got a lot to answer for, they've also brought us unparalleled levels of success during my time I'd never seen as a Manchester City fan. They have they've overseen statistically the most impressive sides in English footballing history, and that's a fact, whether we like to admit it or not. It is a fact. This City side have done incredible things under Guardiola, of course, and probably maybe they should go on to do even better things, but I can't sit and say here that everything has been a failure, because it hasn't. Maybe this has been a failure of a transfer window or whatever. Maybe it is, and maybe we do lack a little bit of naivety getting these mega deals over the line. Maybe we do. Maybe that's something we need to learn, because we are new to this highest level of modern super club football. So maybe it is something we need to learn. And maybe the more times you get burned, the more lessons you learn. And maybe we get there eventually. Having said that, I'm not panicking. Maybe this is just me. Maybe it's the few days in the spa or the newly married husband relaxation speaking here. But I'm not panicking. And I think it's because I know ultimately Manchester City will be fine. My definition of fine is probably different to some of yours. And for fine for me is, will City probably finish in the top 4, challenge for some trophies? I played pretty well most of the season. Yes. We might even win a trophy or two. Will we win the league? There's a very good chance still. Even without a striker. City are an exceptionally good club, as we all know, and we all saw what we were capable of last season. So there's more than enough of a chance. Who knows, man? Maybe football has these little moments where these little stories happen. Maybe Ferran Torres will become the guy that we think he is. Maybe Esteemed will actually have a breakthrough season, and we'll see, our very own Mason Greenwood or Marcus Rashford moment or something like that. Maybe he will become the superstar that we think he could be. I don't know if that'll happen or not, and maybe I'm just hoping, but you know what? You've got to hope and have a little story every now and then in football, and I don't see anything wrong with that, I don't see anything wrong with it. If it means that City get by this season, we don't win the league, finish second or third, play some good football, but we see the likes of, Ferran Torres growing confidence and leaving the lap, get some game time, maybe Cole Palmer. I can take it for a year, and it's not ideal, and some people will freak out over that, but I guess maybe years and years of watching Manchester City be terrible has allowed me the patience mentally for the fallow season if we solve our problems the summer after. It's not an excuse. It's not a concession to mediocrity or anything like that. Maybe it's just that I don't see finishing second after a couple of years of winning the Premier League or whatever, after plenty of Premier League trophies. Maybe I don't see second for one season as a concession of mediocrity. Maybe I just see it as a decent season, not our best, we go again next year. It could also be that we win the Premier League again. I guess the point I'm making is City will be fine. We've got too much money, too much know-how, even if we have bottled these mega transfers, which we're not very good at doing, if we're being honest. Maybe we need to learn, but we will be back, we will be stronger, and we're probably still going to win something this year. We might even still win the league, because we are still fantastic, and there's no guarantee. It always feels like when you look on Twitter that the world is falling apart and Manchester City are going to collapse. Remember everyone says that the Guardiola's reign was over last season? It may be difficult to repeat that, but we answered an awful lot of questions and went further than we ever have in the Champions League, and we won the league after a sensational run in the league, winning how many games in a row. Be patient, be calm. By all means, be disappointed that we haven't signed a striker. I'm not telling you you were wrong to do that. I am also disappointed. But do I want the baby thrown out with the bathwater? No. Do I want all the board sacked? No, I don't. Do I think Manchester City are now fading into mediocrity? No, we're not, of course. Do I think the season got a little bit harder and we might not win the league? Yep, I do. But is that a disaster for me? No. Maybe that's the difference between me and some people, and I know some other Blues feel the same way. I don't want success at any cost, Instant gratification with Ronaldo definitely would have been fun, but for me, he's not the kind of person I want at the club. Yeah, you're welcome to disagree, cannot be asked arguing with that over that for various reasons. But I would prefer the Lap plays 30 games than Ronaldo plays 30 games. Call me crazy, but what I value for football is different from what other people value for football. And maybe I'm meant to be sat here in a pure YouTube style, ranting about Cheeky and Soriano and Barada. And I think they have failed this summer, if I'm being honest. But maybe I haven't got the energy for that. Maybe I realise just how lucky we have had it as Manchester City fans over the past 10 years and so. We've had it incredibly good. That doesn't mean I accept failure. It doesn't. It just means I'm a grown adult. I can be rational at the same time and understand things can sometimes be very difficult in this world. I will not be happy if we fail Guardiola and we really struggle. I will not be happy. But at the same time, I am not willing to give up everything that's been so good over the past few years and pretend it didn't happen just because we didn't sign a striker this summer. And who knows, man? It's been the craziest few days. I'm sat here recording this at 5:15 on a Friday, and if a story comes out at 5:30 that City are about to sign some random player we've never been linked to before, would anyone really be surprised given this crazy window? And once again, I did a video here chatting about all the big news, and I just totally forgot to mention the Champions League group draw as well. That shows you how insane life has been over the past week from Manchester City fan. Just so much going on, of course. The Ronaldo stuff, the Kane stuff, the awful Mendy news, the Pep Guardiola news. And this, of course, as well. And that's a difficult group. We've got Manchester City at top of Group A, of course, with Paris Saint-Germain. Potentially Mbappe less, but now with Messi, Donnarumma, Wijnaldum, and all these other players, they are a fantastic side. One looking for revenge, no doubt, after we knocked them out last year. I fancy us to beat them still, but that's a difficult tie. It's a difficult tie, and then it doesn't get much easier. RB Leipzig, a ferociously good side, aggressive, well run, always getting stars out of nowhere. Been stripped of a couple of assets, of course, recently, Konate leaving them. But Leipzig are a fantastic side, and they'll no doubt put up a firm challenge. And then Club Brugge. I'd be lying if I said I knew much about Club Brugge or how they got on last season. Let me just quickly Google it. But either way, they're not the whipping boys, are they? They're really not, that you would hope in a group like this. Currently, they're sitting second over in the Belgian league. Last season, where did they finish last season? I don't know where they were. They finished top last season in the regular, so they won the league last season as well. So yeah, they are the current Belgian champions. So that's an interesting little group there, isn't it? And a little bit of spice for this week for Manchester City. I fancy us to go through that, but it's pretty close to a group of death, if we're being honest. It's not the easiest group in the world. Anyway, I haven't got loads to add other than Messi is coming to the Etihad. Of course he is. Angelino coming back as well, which will be interesting as well. But Messi, Neymar and co. Maybe Richarlison, if you believe the rumours as well. Maybe Haaland, if you believe the rumours. Who knows? It's been a crazy week. So that is my little recap on all the news from Manchester City. It's been absolutely insane. We haven't signed Cristiano Ronaldo. We were going to, then we weren't. We were going to sign Kane, then we weren't. City have suspended a player. It's been awful. Pep said he was going to leave for 2 years, then he said he kind of hasn't. It's been a weird week. And we'll be back doing loads of football videos, of course, now. I'm back home. The honeymoon's over, quite literally. And now we get back to work. Guys, thank you for watching this video. Big love to Scott Denby, my Patreon producer, of course. And thank you to everyone who's been supporting me recently. I really appreciate it. Once again, these are all just my opinions. You don't have to agree with them. I'm not asking anyone to agree with them. I'm just explaining where I'm at. And I'm not going to panic. Because panicking, we don't do it very often in Manchester City. And we tend to get more things right than we don't. So that's all I ever ask. Guys, love you all loads. Like, comment, subscribe. Come on, City.